Okay, well, we're starting our new series of Hoof Chats. And what is today? It is July 9th. No, no. Yeah. Yes, no? Okay, let's see here. I gotta fix some things here. All right, so now find my way back to the Zoom meeting. Just a second. Okay. Hi, Jennifer. I see you made it. Your microphone's off, just so you know.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm glad you make it. I think I did send you one, but it was up there because I wound up sending you some pictures I was actually sending to somebody else. I bet people get in trouble doing this on occasion, because that little message box on the computer is right where you do comments and stuff too. And then a lot of times when you're sending one person a message, you go to do something, you come back, somebody else has popped up right in that spot. So I bet sometimes people say stuff they wish they shouldn't have in those boxes. Okay. All right. Anyway, so we're starting a new Hoof Chats today. I'm going to share the screen here. Just a second. Put something up there. What I'm going to do, Jennifer, is I'm going to go and we're going to look through your pictures, and then if you wouldn't mind, I'd just like you to tell your story. Kind of what you've been through, how long you've been into horses, what you kind of been through as far as hoof care and things like that. Would you mind doing that?
No, that's all good.
Okay, awesome. Okay, just a second here. I'll go get the pictures up. Let's see. Let's see. Open a messenger up here. Wow, you took a lot of good pictures. And you got a donkey too, right?
Um, the the person that owns the donkeys will pop up in the pony story, but the property my horse is on has my internet's playing up, so just in case I drop out. She has 5 horses and 5 donkeys,
Okay.
and I work a lot with her horses as well as mine.
Okay. Okay. So then the pictures you sent me are some of hers and yours? Her.
The last one I sent you a couple of weeks ago, that is my pony.
Okay.
I have proper photos of the other pony and one of the donkeys.
Okay. Just a minute. I'm going to go and see which is which here. Just a second. And then I'll bring it up on the screen. So the white foot with the black sock around the ankle.
Yep, that's my pony.
Okay. So we're going to look there first. And
She's
I'm
the
going to, oh, go
she's the
ahead.
one with the black and white hooves.
Okay. Let's see here. Let me get back on Zoom. It's been a while. See, it's been since the first year since I've done these after doing them every week since 2017. So now I got to teach myself how to do Zoom all over again. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So we got something up there. And okay, so do you want to tell us a little bit about your story, like when you started learning to trim yourself? I mean, just whatever you want to share. Everybody'd really appreciate it because, like I was telling you, we do these and record them and stuff so that because somebody else is going to look at your horse's foot and say that looks a lot, that's what the problem I have, or maybe something you've been through, and that'll be able to help them. Okay, so if you go ahead and just kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your story.
All right, so I'm Jennifer. I've had horses for 30 odd years. Um, I had about a 15-year break from horses just because life got in the way. Um, the boy I had before now, I wanted to start trimming his feet, but I had to rehome him due to life getting in the way. So my friend with all the other horses and the donkeys, she came into our lives a couple of years ago. This particular pony, she rescued from running down the street at 2 o'clock in the morning. And the home that she was in, they really didn't care about her, so she offered to buy her. She was in her care for a little over 12 months, and she runs a wellness program for disabled people. This pony, due to past trauma, wasn't suitable for that program because she does randomly spook at things. Um, I know any horse does, but she was particularly bad for it. Um, so she was the only reason we could handle this mare is because of the work my 12-year-old put in. So she was rehomed with us. Now we've had her since March. She has had 3 trims, which this last set of photos is from her last trim 2 weeks ago tomorrow. I haven't, since it's been taken, like she's been taken over by me, I haven't been happy with the quality of the trims, and the photos stand for themselves. Um,
Okay.
and excuse me a minute while I go break up an argument between my cats.
Okay, that's all. That's funny. Okay, well let's look. We're gonna look at the feed here and stuff. Obviously, we're always it's always a situation of heels. I mean, it's never not a
All right, I'm
situation
back.
of heels. Are you back?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I've got 3 of them, and one gets carried away when he plays and thinks he's this big, tough street cat.
Ah,
But yeah, that's about it for my story and Goldie's story.
okay. Okay. So then okay, I might have missed something here, so I got to make sure because my hearing is not good right now because my speakers on my headphone are
And that
not
noise in the
doing.
background of my dog.
Okay. Sounds like me. Got to keep them animals straightened out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could get this uh things. Oh, maybe now it'll work. Could somebody say something? Hello? Is anybody talking? Oh,
Hello.
oh, good. Okay, thank you. Yeah, now my headphones are working. All right, got that straightened away. Good. Ah, okay. So did just a second here. Okay, where did Jennifer go? Is she still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I get lost in these Zoom pages. Okay, so this is your pony here, and now I didn't hear part of what you said. Okay, did you say that you were trimming this horse or you weren't trimming
No,
this?
I started trimming years ago.
Okay,
Um, with one of my previous horses, I had a massive gap in keeping horses, and it's only been the last couple of years that I've
okay,
gotten back into it. She's
okay,
had when my friend took her in, she's had a couple of different trimmers, but because she wasn't mine, I wasn't paying a great deal of attention to her feet.
sure, yeah,
But now that she's ours, I'm paying attention.
You bet.
especially seeing as she's got that massive crack in her toe.
Yeah.
And like that photo was taken 4 days after her trim, the
Mm-hmm.
one with the crack in it. Well, all of those.
Yeah.
Um, and you can actually see where the cracks started extending more up the hoof.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Let's go find that picture.
It'll be one of
That's
the last ones.
this one right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, the problem from this is coming. See what these
Yeah.
trimmers are taught. They're taught that there was a misinterpretation of wild horse feet. All right, because to where just a minute now, I got to straighten my dog. Okay, there we go. Told them they're not going to be playing while I'm doing this. You're distracting me, kids. Okay, so what you're going to have to do is you see this foot in front of us. Okay, I'm. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, that flare needs to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show you
It
some
could
pictures.
it could be my internet.
I'm going to show you some pictures of an internal foot. Um, so that see, this is what I did. I didn't know how to do dissections. I thought you naturally would take the hoof capsule off every time, not slice and dice them into a million pieces. And so I started taking hoof capsules off. And eventually I realized these horses have a literal foot on the inside. It's not just a coffin bone covered with skin and parts in there. Okay, they have the skin, which they call coriums, and lamina and all that. Okay, that is not just tissue attached to parts. That is part of the whole skin of the whole horse. Just like our foot is covered with skin and then we grow toenails, well, even the nail bed that grows the toenail is skin. All right. So so the internal foot is a foot. And so what I started doing was I started looking at that internal foot, trying to figure out what is this hoof capsule supposed to be shaped like. All right. So I'm going to show you some pictures from when I was first doing studies on that and show you what I learned. Let's see here. Because originally what I learned was that you should leave the sides of the toe high because somebody made an incorrect interpretation on wild horse feet. We're not going to go into all the details of that. All right. To where they thought that the sides of the toe were purposely supposed to be weight bearing points, and you should leave them high. But the thing is, that isn't what they were supposed to be. What it is they just wear more of the toe off. It isn't that the toe quarters or sides of the toe are high. It's just that they wear off more in front. And so when you take a board and you paint it and you slap it to the bottom of a, 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 a wild horse that's laid down, okay. It's gonna, well, what they do, I think they painted the bottom of the horse's foot and then they put a board on it to see where it bore weight. Okay. So when they did that, they noticed there were four main weight bearing points and two of them were at the front of the foot. And so they assumed that you should leave that area of the wall high. But when you do that, it does exactly what's been done to your horse here. Okay, so we're gonna look at an inner foot, and we're gonna look at how the capsule should mirror that inner foot. Let's see here. Okay, and I did this on my mare. On my mare first. I'll show you some things here. Okay, like let's see. Come on, share. Okay, so one thing I started seeing was these lines. These lines on the feet, see, you got the horn tubules going down like this. Okay, but then you have what I started calling growth rings. See, like the coronary band, let me get annotate here what color I got. Let me get red. Okay, so your coronary band's up here, and this is called the coronary band groove right in here. This is where your coronary band lays, right in here. And so you'll notice that you have these rings. See them right there? Now look at this
Mm-hmm.
one. It goes up like that. Not supposed to do that. Okay, now the hoof wall, and see, you can tell, like, well, I can tell on this foot that they were leaving the sides of the toe high to force it to bear weight because they've been taught, oh, that's a weight bearing thing. Well, if it was, it wouldn't do this. It wouldn't force the wall to jam up like this because that's not what the wall looks like. See, so we're gonna look at some more stuff here. So the whole thing that we're doing here is everything is based on an intricate understanding of general hoof structure. Before you ever get to the microscopic stuff, you got to notice the kind of bigger stuff. The way the structure is generally supposed to be that you can see. So let's see here. Let me take this all off here. So I would do stuff like this. I would take a foot that, okay, so this is a dissected foot that I had, and I took a picture of it. And you see how I would look at it, and I would look at the capsule, and I would go, well, that capsule doesn't look like this foot. It would stand to reason to me that the capsule, if I'm looking at it this way, that the capsule should be shaped like the foot, and it's not. So let me get this here. So on this horse here, as I said, they've left it high. So this capsule should be shaped like this. See there? And instead, it goes out like so because they've left this part high. So I started taking this area down more because something that happens is when you leave this a little higher right here, and then you shorten the toe right here, then this becomes a lever. They get long, they grow out, and they become levers on the sides of the toe that are pulling on the center of the wall here. And they will pull the wall apart just like what's on your horse
Mm-hmm.
because they're supposed to look like this. And I'll show you some feet that look like that. We're going to go back here in a minute and look at your horse's foot, and you're going to see how the growth rings, well, your horse's foot, it's got these big levers on the side just like this. See?
Mm.
Okay. See, if this was right clear down here, it'd be like this. But instead, you see how you have this part here?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Let's see here. Okay, so let me just a minute here. Hold on, I gotta go and find another thing here. Just a second. Okay. And the first horse I experimented with this on was my mare, Molly. Let's see here. I'll show you what I did. If I can find it. Okay. Let's see, share. Okay, so um that picture I just showed you, I
Mm-hmm.
was trying to figure out uh how this horse's foot should look. Okay. And so I went in the house and I cut that, cut that picture of that capsule, the foot I removed the capsule off of, and I pasted on that foot I just showed you. And
Mm-hmm.
then I went outside and I looked at her feet, and you see this right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see, because that is what I was taught, to leave those toe quarters high. A lot of people are taught that. It's called the 4-point trim. Okay. And so instead, I started taking this area down more because there's something else that happens too. When you leave this high, it starts jamming up this way. And here's another thing. You don't only look down here, you have to look up here too. Just a minute. Let me see if we're going to go back here just a second. Okay, look at the hairline up here, how it goes, how it slopes. It's highest here. The longest horn tubule on the capsule should be in the very center of the toe, right here. And then they should gradually get shorter as they go around the corner and back to the heel and be in parallel alignment. So if you look up here at the coronary band, you see that it is outlined like this. But what'll happen is when this is left high, this wall will jam up and this wall will raise like this. And so sometimes even up here, you'll have this number like that because this wall will be so jammed up. And so it'll jam up, it'll raise up the hairline right there, and the wall will compress. And look, you see the growth rings on this. I've marked them in blue. They go up like this. They're not supposed to
Mm-hmm.
go like that. See, they're supposed to be like this. And so, um, I'm trying to think. And another thing that'll happen, not only that, once all this happens and there's no other place for it to go, then the sides of the toe will start flaring out. See? So that growth has to go somewhere. It'll compress. You'll get what I call bulges, uh, compression rings. Like you have these growth rings here, okay? But when they're really weighted, sometimes they'll collapse and then they'll turn into a bump right here. People call it event lines, okay? But what it is,
Mm-hmm.
it's the foot trying to level out. Like the foot will try to do a lot of things to level before it starts to flare or jam up into the hairline right here. Okay, so let's undo that. Okay, let's go back to this one here. So anyway, I what I had to do and finally figured out was that the hoof has what I call a hoof wall grid, which is vertical horn tubules and horizontal growth rings. And they have a certain symmetry to them and a certain way that they're supposed to look. Like, well, now you see over here, you see how that one raises right
Mm-hmm.
there? See, that's not supposed to be like that. And now the top up here isn't jammed up a lot, but it can get again so that instead of being like this, now she's not bad. See there? How she goes over and then goes down like that. Okay. But again, what'll happen is this can get, and you can see here, yeah, she's got some excess here and things like that that have jammed up and shoved that growth ring up, but it hasn't gone all the way up here yet to where it shoved her hairline up like this. See? So, and this side wasn't as bad as that side, which you see what an imbalance there really was there? Because this side, the growth ring's actually pretty good, kind of goes like this. But then see how this gets higher here? Then this one goes up like that. Because this wall here can jam up that way. And this side here, if I happen to keep that shorter, which it's on the outside, it's on the lateral side. So let's see. trying to figure maybe I was better at rasping that side or something like that. Sometimes you get these imbalances just because of body mechanics and eyeballs, you know. And so that's why these vertical horn tubules and these horizontal growth rings help you read the hoof and help you determine how you're trimming. If you're, because again, if you leave something high, it puts pressure on the wall and the wall will jam up. Well, it's got these rings in it, right? So when the wall jams up, then it'll go like this, and eventually it'll go like this. See what I mean? All the way up eventually to where it could come clear up here. And so you can't just, like, I couldn't just come in and just because I cut this off right here, or trim this down some, doesn't mean it's going to straighten out right away. Because this wall here has to release and let itself down, and this flare would have to come in. And so what I would do is I come in and I would bevel this to give it room to relax down. I would try and shape it as much as I could to the foot without taking the foot too short. And then when you bevel the wall, like what I got here, that gives it room to literally, you can come out and it will look like you didn't even trim the foot because the wall will literally come down. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. My daughter calling. Let's see. Oh man. Okay, let me undo this here. Clear. Okay, so now knowing this, we're going to go back and look at your foot and evaluate it. And this is what you can do with all your feet is go through and evaluate it. Now, first though, we ought to look at a foot that has uh correct that's correct so you can see what it looks like. So let's see here. Where am I going to find one of them? I do have one somewhere. Just a second here. Let me get that. Oh, I will try and find a picture of my horse, but my one thing is not hooked up, so we'll see. Well, maybe let's look at Molly. I think I straightened her out pretty good. This was my old mare. She died when she was 32. Let's see. This is not too bad here. Just a minute. Um, okay. Okay, so now uh so I had worked on this foot. Now another thing we know, since the foot is longest in the center right here and they gradually get back, another thing we can look at is the length of the capsule from the hairline to the ground. So you want to first look at your hairline. Is it raised? It was still a little bit raised on this side. See, you can still see it's little jammed up right here. See the lump and stuff. So when all was said and done, I finally got that. I call it excising it out, the excess capsule and the flare excised out. This part of the hairline dropped down more, and the little flare here came out, but it's not as bad as it was in the other photo where it was quite a bit more raised on this side, but it shouldn't be raised at all. So, and you can kind of see over here, there's no flare over here. The hairline goes down. There's no flare. The wall is straight. The growth ring are even. See how this is shaped like the foot here? It doesn't go down like this. See? And so look at the growth rings. We'll try and mark some out here. See how they're even? Pretty even. But then when we go over here again, okay, um, there, this, first of all, look at the hair. A lot of times, look at the hair. Look how nice it lays down here, and look how, oh, bad hair day over here, right? Okay, that's because look at the line here. Okay, I'm pretty sure this goes up higher up here. Okay, and so, and you can look at the growth ring here. Okay, goes from here and it starts rising right about here and goes like that. Even up here, goes rising up here and kind of like that. So this side, I guess I had a tendency to leave higher than this side. And gradually over a period of time, it just jammed up, up, and then flared out, out, and probably got thickened in the sole right here as well. This would have created well, see, the whole reason the capsule does this is to try to keep the internal foot balanced. But that's why it jams up, it compresses. You can even see that there are bulges right here. See that? This is like a built-in leveling system that's in the foot. That's also why it'll start to flare out. Okay, because it's got that foot in there. Let's see here. Okay, so that foot would look like this. Do, 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 do. Like this. Okay, so this does all this to try and level out the capsule so that this foot is not sitting at a real bad medial lateral imbalance. It's pretty interesting the way this self-leveling system has been put into the capsule, but uh, but only to a degree. I mean, after a while, you're going to have a major imbalance. That's going to cause wear on the joints. I mean, all kinds of bad things. And it's still just not comfortable for the horse as well. Okay, so let me undo that. Okay, and another thing that we look at, besides looking at the hairline, looking at the growth rings, measuring, is it longer in the toe? And you measure over like about 2 inches. And if it should be up to about a fourth of an inch shorter by the time you get over here. See? So there's all these different things we look at. It's definitely not cookie cutter, but these are general principles that we apply so that we know if we're fitting the capsule to the internal foot correctly. Let's see. Clear all drawings. Let's see. Okay, so another thing is, okay, feet are not round. Now, I didn't know that as much here in this picture at this time. I wonder if, let me see when this was even. Oh, 2016. I restored her heels just in time for her to pass away. So she was 32 years old. She was just a wonderful mare. She's the dam of my horse Valor out here. I trimmed her feet out, her heels out for 8 years, along with my other horses, according to barefoot methodology. Let's see, I'm going to show you a picture. I'll show you a picture of what I did to her. Just a second here. And the thing is, some people would look at this and go, wow, those look great. You know, because I had that one dead wild horse foot image put in my head that everybody else has had. I don't know if you know about that. Um, just a minute here. Jennifer, do you know about the barefoot model, the one dead wild horse foot that everybody's supposed to put on their horse's foot that they say all wild horses have? Well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, all wild horses don't have that foot. Okay, that guy got that foot out of a freezer and uh used a rear foot off a old mare that died in a roundup, and then got everybody convinced that this was the ideal foot that every horse ought to have. Well, I put that foot on my horses for 8 years. Here, I'm going to show you. I made this meme. See, American Horror Story. See, no heels, 30
Mm-hmm.
degree hairline. She's on her bulbs. They're not supposed to be walking on their bulbs. They're supposed to have some heel out there. Um, and this mare was sound all her life until about 2 years into my barefoot trimming adventure. And so I restored her heels. That this is her foot after she passed away. At the time when I did this dissection, I didn't know. Look at that heel. You see that heel right there?
Mm.
That is a contracted, curled in heel. But I didn't even know she had that at the time. But that is what lowering those heels does. It actually contracts the heels. They say, oh, that's how you get the heels to widen up, but I have proved that that is not the case. Let's go back here where we was. Okay, so we're just going to look at some things I learned. Now remember that uh the structure of the hoof capsule on the foot, your longest torn tubule, just a minute here. Let me move some stuff around. Hold on. Now you look over here, you can see that I grew heels back. She's not walking on her bulbs anymore. Because the frog is meant when this pastern descends back onto this sling of skin right here onto the digital cushion, which is right here. It presses down, and this frog stay here is meant to give while pushing up at the same time, and it is meant to give and descend and be suspension for the horse. It's not built to pummel the ground and be constantly hammered and worn out. And if people look at the inner foot, they should be able to tell that isn't supposed to be pounded on the ground. That's why they have these heels to give these frogs a little bit of room so that the suspension works. See, they work from the weight goes from the inside down, and the frog pushes it back up. The frog is very strong. Okay, so let's see here. Just a minute. Okay, I wish this thing had turned around. Oh well. I'm used to it being, I got this annotate thing. I'm used to it being over here, and for some reason it wants to be down here, and it's confusing me. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, where are you? Okay, so your longest torn tubule is right in the center of the toe here. Your coronary band should gradually go back like this. Okay, your coronary band is going to lay in here, right in this area here. And let's just do this here. And so your longest horn tubule is here. And then they should all be in alignment. Oops, what happened? Okay, why are you doing that to me? Just a minute. I hit something and now it's not working for me. Okay, there we go. See, they should gradually get shorter as they go back. Of course, There's hundreds of them there. To get back to here to the heel buttress that supports the whole back of the foot. And then they should all be in parallel alignment too, like this. Now, what happens when you lower these heels to want to get a hairline to look like that one dead rear foot on that wild horse is that would make this horn tubule that's right here, that would take and that would set it like that. It sets them all at an angle and forces them forward, often forcing the toe forward too. So you got, let's see here. Okay, so you've got that and you've got your growth rings. See, they go like this. And they help you read the capsule to see if it's fitting the foot correctly. Okay. Okay, so now this is just general hoof structure, hoof capsule structure. And one of the things that we also have learned to read above and beyond almost anything is what is above the hairline, because this cartilage up here is also part of the foot. The foot is not just what extends below the hairline, but what is also, let's see here, get my pin, this part too. This is all part of the foot. This skin up here grows the hair. The skin underneath this capsule grows the capsule. See, the foot literally does have a covering of skin, and when you soak all the blood out of it, it is the same color as the skin on the leg. Okay, so let's undo all this. See if we need to look at anything else here. So anyway, another thing that we discovered was that uh, the 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 sole is not just concave. The sole actually has a convex sole ridge that is supposed to grow around the rim of the sole. The horse actually grows his own shoe right around here. And I've got plenty of pictures of wild horses to prove this too, as well as the anatomy of the inner foot and the sole corium itself. It shows how it grows. So, all right. So good, lucky horse. I was able to at least make her more comfortable before she passed on after, butchering her feet like that for 8 years. And this is epidemic, of course, in Hoofland out there. All right, let's go back and look at your horse's foot now that we've looked at all that. Just a second here. Oops. I gotta open up your thing again here in a second. Well, I got lost in Windows land. Just a second here. Okay. Open a messenger. Okay, let's get up here. Okay. Where is the zoom? There you go. Change share. Okay, so we're back here. I want to go back to that picture, that anterior view, the front, looking at the front. Let's see here. Okay. Right here. We're there. Okay, now taking all the principles that we just learned, okay, what are we seeing? Now this is this is a right front foot. Okay, so what's the first thing we're going to look at? We're going to look at, I want to change colors. Okay, we're going to look at the growth rings. Now, when we look right here, this is showing us something right here. Okay. Um, we look down here. First of all, we see that both sides of the toe are flared, huh?
Hmm.
They have those corners like that. Now let's follow the growth ring right there. And we can't really see the hairline too much, but it might not be too jammed up, but it looks like it. Look how this hair lays down here. Look, you remember on my mirror how she had a bad
Yeah.
hair day on this side? See, I think this side is probably jammed up. The hairline could be jammed up here more. But the thing about it is this side looks a little more this up to about there it looks pretty symmetrical. It's where it gets down here that things get a little odd. Now look at the distance. This is another thing you look at. The distance sometimes. Okay, but as we know, because the hoof capsule, the horn tubules get shorter as you go towards the heel, but the growth rings are going to be the same distance. See? So when you get here, you notice that we're going to do this. See how much more you have over here, and what's that doing? It's
Yeah.
pushing the foot over here. Say, so what you would have to do over here is first you have to start taking this down a bit and beveling the side of this foot so that this wall will want to move in like that, and also getting the excess hoof wall off of it so that the foot can come back together and it will quit trying to be, these areas here will quit being levers pulling the foot out. See? Um, so so is this helping you understand why she has a crack there?
Yeah. See,
Okay.
I this is what sent me down the rabbit hole is because I knew it was something to do with the way she was trimmed, like the excess. When you look at the back of her foot, the unevenness in the heel,
Mm-hmm.
and then the amount of hoof on either side of her foot. It's there's
Yeah.
too much there.
Yeah. Let's look at the be the medial heel. Okay. Is the medial heel crushed inward? Is what I'm wondering. Because look how she'd be setting high. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, what do you call this? I keep forgetting the name of it. Okay, so you got your corners. Okay. What is this called? Somebody tell me
diagonal.
that. Diagonal? Okay.
Hmm.
And I thought there was another name for it too.
Well,
Okay,
that's the word that pops into my head.
okay. So so she's higher here and leaning back on this heel maybe. So
Mm.
that would crush that heel in maybe. Let's go look and see. You know, and we reserve the right to be wrong about anything, okay? But we're not wrong about what we're seeing here, that these two toe quarters, as they're called, have become levers pulling the foot that direction and that direction. And I got other pictures of feet that are just like this, getting cracks in the center because of this deal of leaving it's not only that many of them are taught to leave this high, it is that a lot of times people do not know how to trim the sides of the toe to form it to the foot, and so they'll wind up trimming the hi Aaron, they'll wind up trimming the toe more and the toe quarters less, and they gradually, the foot starts getting rounder or it gets square, things like that. So let's see here.
Because
Man,
shouldn't when you look underneath it follow the white line, whereas hers obviously doesn't.
let's, could you say that again? I didn't hear you.
Like her hoof should be following what the white line, like where it's trimmed,
Yes.
whereas she's got that massive excess length.
Oh, so she's got separation. Is that what you're saying? Right here? Is that
I
the
don't.
same
Well,
foot?
I can't actually see. Yeah,
Oh,
that's no, that's the hind foot, not the front.
oh, okay. Let's go back here. Wait a second. Eh. Yeah, right hind. Okay, right front. Which one's this? Left front, left front, left front, left front, left front, left hind. Well, that should have been right there. Why did we miss it?
Probably because my I changed devices and
Oh,
the photos got scrambled.
oh, okay. We'll just keep going, see if we can find it. Left front, left front, left front, right hind, right hind, right
Get off,
hind,
Benjamin.
right front. Okay, so we're getting there and stuff. So, aha, that's it. So
There you go.
I'm gonna save this so I can flip it around. Okay.
See, there's that much sole on her foot
Mm-hmm.
that you can't see her white line. Like, look at it. You can see it bulging on the inside.
Just a minute here. Share. Okay. So say that again. Sorry.
Like, she's so this farrier has been trimming her for a fraction over a year.
Uh-huh.
I think he started January last year, so it'd be 18 months now. This year's gone too fast. Um, and I have not seen him take back sole on any horse there.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of
So
times.
this is God knows how long worth of
Mm-hmm.
sole. Like you can't see, like even if you rub with the hoof pick, you can't see the proper white line because there's so much material there.
Yeah. When's the last time she was trimmed?
2 weeks ago.
Okay.
This is 4 days after a trim.
Oh, yeah. This is what got me into this. All right. It was about just a few days after this farrier, he was always trimming my horse. Okay. In other words, he came regular every 6 weeks, like
Yep.
clockwork. Okay. I didn't even have to call him. And so about 3 or 4 days after he came, and my mom was here visiting, and I picked up my gelding's feet, and they see my gelding's feet kept getting bigger and bigger, and then getting little poppy holes in them. That's where gravel gets a little piece of sand gets up in the white line, and it'll travel up and pop out the
Mm-hmm.
wall and make a little crack. And so I picked up the foot, and the walls were clear above the sole, and I was like, it looked like he hadn't even trimmed him, you know. So this is a farrier pasture trim, not a barefoot trim, and probably a good thing it's not a barefoot trim, or it'd be worse, you know,
Mm,
because then she could be totally butchered as well.
mm,
Because okay, so like I believe and know that horses can go without shoes. I was raised around wild horses. I was raised in Wyoming. I was raised on a ranch. We only kept shoes on in the summer. We let them go in the winter because otherwise snow gets in there and they get balls under their feet and stuff like
yeah.
that. Plus, we believed, and this is old time belief that horses need to go 3 4 months out of the year without shoes. Okay, just retain good feet. So in the winter on the ranches, the ranchers pull the shoes. Okay. So, and because, see, here's another thing, you got the cattle in, you're not out riding the range checking cows. Okay. So you're feeding. So you don't need horses in that way like you do in the summer. So their feet go through a lot of recovery without shoes on, and they're usually running to big pastures that's the same kind of land wild horses run on a lot of times and stuff. But farriers will do these pasture trims because they don't want to make these horses sore because they lose clients, you know, and they're taught that horses are supposed to walk on the hoof wall. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they will leave the wall high and and things like that. And so she has a bit of heel here. But we want to take and look at the other pictures also to see more what's going on. But actually, it's a good thing he's not totally removing everything like they do in some barefoot trims. See, but another thing that can happen too is they can still develop pressure sores under here from all this dead sole and things like that. I have
Mm.
pictures of stuff like that. Okay, let's see here. I want to get a couple more pictures copied so we can kind of compare some stuff here. Just a second. See, now if I was going to trim this foot, okay, I would come in here and I would scribe out this sole right here. Let me show you just a second here. I would scribe out the sole just where it's connected the wall right there, just a little bit
Mm-hmm.
with the edge of my hoof knife right up here. I would scribe, actually, I'd scribe all down here. See, this side ain't as bad right here. Okay, and then I would just kind of nip this off and or bevel it, level it and bevel it. I would level the wall down. This is what I do. I would come in here, I would scribe out a bit of sole here. Then I would level this wall here from here from, well, wait a minute. Let me look at that side. About here forward, I would just level it and I would hit the sole with the rasp right in here. See if I made this white. This is what would happen. Just a minute here. Come up here.
All right, I just sent you a photo on Messenger.
Okay.
That is 2 weeks before the trim.
Oh, okay. This ought to be interesting. Okay. Okay. So I would come in here. I would hit this. See, if you rasp this flat and then you hit the sole, you're going to see it turn white right here.
Yeah.
Clean sole. So I would come in here. I would just level this. I'll have to look at it more to see exactly where you go to here. Okay. Because you want to keep this much heel.
Yeah.
You don't want to really mess with it. And so I would level this and I would hit it till I got about just a little bit of sole, even amount of sole with it. And then I'd bevel the edges about like so. And then I just let that horse work his own sole out. Well, I'd also take this bar out right here because he's not doing any bar, that's for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, he has not trimmed any bar at all. And I would trim out some of that frog right here, the apex. I would trim the apex of this frog down. Um, and I would just do that because then that horse moving around is going to knock this sole out.
Mm.
See, this is why these horses, and this is what I figured out was happening to my horse, why my horse was getting the dreaded flatterfoot. See, I call it the dreaded platterfoot because when I was a kid and these farriers would work on horses, and like my dad also was a farrier. Well, he shot his own horses anyway, and he shot a few other people's horses. But anyway, uh, uh, these farriers, they'd look at a horse, and my dad did the same thing. He'd look at a horse that had big feet. He'd go, "Oh gosh, this horse has dinner plates for feet, or he's flatter-footed," you
Yeah.
know. And so I always thought it was some kind of disease, and stuff. Well, my colt of my old age, who was only 2, was getting big, wide, flatter feet. And so I was really concerned about that. Well, what I eventually came to understand was the reason this was happening because of how this guy was trimming, which is a typical farrier's pasture trim. Okay, they don't want the horse to get sore. Plus, they believe the horses walk on their walls, so they leave the wall high. Well, and they don't exfoliate the sole. So they'll come to a foot like this, and they're going to trim some of it away, but they're going to leave the wall high because they're taught horses are supposed to walk on the wall. And so then after a few days, the horse can walk around, and a lot of times what'll happen is they'll knock out some of the sole, some of the dead sole, and then the wall will be even higher. Okay. So then they're walking on even more wall. And so the leverage on that wall starts to pull the wall out and spread the foot out so that it gets bigger. Does that make sense?
Yeah, which is what she's got happening, because God knows
Yeah.
last time, what time that, like, how long ago that soul was touched. But if, like, we want the heels to even out, right?
Yeah.
So what would I do with the heel being like half a centimeter longer on
Okay.
one
What
side?
is one heel half a centimeter? Half a centimeter is not much, and it depends because sometimes, like which heel is half a centimeter longer?
The
Have,
one where all the flare is.
over here?
Yeah.
Okay, so
But
have you measured it from the hairline here to the end of
no,
the
not
heel?
yet. But
Okay.
if you look at every foot on every horse on that property, that heel on that side is the one that's too long. This
Okay.
isn't necessarily a horse thing, this is a farrier thing.
Yeah,
Because if he was
absolutely.
trimming to the foot,
Yep,
then it wouldn't be on every hoof of every horse.
that's right. That's right. So so here's something interesting, and that is and this is very common, okay, that they actually over trim, and it's is it always the outside, the lateral
No,
side, the outside,
this is
or
a
is it the
thing.
inside?
On the right side of the horse,
Uh-huh.
it's the lateral side. On the left side of the horse is the medial side. This is what I mean. This is a it's
That's
purely a
interesting.
farrier thing,
Yeah.
because it's always the left side of the hoof, looking at it from that angle, that has, like, if you go through looking at the back of each hoof on her feet, it's the same
Uh-huh.
side that's high.
Okay. I'll have to look, but I will tell you this, that one thing we discovered that happens is that whatever side is actually trimmed out the most will look high. And the reason for this is, and at it will look high. It won't, like you could have the same exact length from here to here, okay? Same
Mm-hmm.
exact length, but when you sight down the foot, one side can look higher. And that is because the capsule is twisted. Because when they trim out one side more than the other, it pulls the bulb down and it tweaks the capsule so that, like this bulb, like look at this bulb here, how much wider it is.
Yeah.
See there? That's because it's pulled down and it's literally twisting the capsule down here. So since it takes the whole capsule in that side of the foot and it pulls it down and twists it down, it's looking higher. But it's not really been left higher. It's actually been trimmed shorter, which has pulled and twisted the capsule. Am I making sense here?
Yeah.
Okay. So what, and then what happens is, just a minute, because the way that the farrier does the heels is by sighting down the heels. When he sights down the heels, he doesn't realize that this whole side of the foot is being pulled down. Okay. And the capsule's being twisted. Oh my gosh, who is that? Oh, I can't talk to you right now. So I'll just have to let that go. Hold on. Maybe I quit calling. Somebody calling me on Facebook. My friend from Israel. Okay. All right. I can't hang up on him. He's just going to have to. I wonder if I can turn this down. Hold on. Hold on. I'm waiting for this to quit ringing. Okay. I'll call him back later. So, okay, where was I? Man, I hate getting distracted when I'm doing this stuff because this is like a brain drain. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, so one of the things you look at here is you look as which bulb is wider because that means that's the heel that's been trimmed lower. And so when then if your idea of measuring heel height is to sight down to see if the heels are level and the same on each side, it's going to deceive you because this side will always look higher because it's twisted down and forward. And so then you'll trim it down some more, and that makes it worse each time. And that's when you get these big asymmetrical feet where one's side's wider than the other side. Like, look at the sole on this side compared to this side. See? And I did this to all four. I did this to my gilding to all 4 feet. See, I'm going to show you something here. We need comic relief. Hold on just a second here. Let me undo all this. Okay. I'll show you what I did. Just a second. Yeah, all 4 feet on my Gilding Valor were way asymmetrical. The bulb was pulled way down on one side and wider because of this very reason that I was taught to do heels by sighting down at the heels. And because it twisted the capsule down that way, it made that side look higher when it, I mean, in a sense it was because the whole foot is twisted, but in reality, according to measurements, it's not. And so the only way to correct it is to grow that heel back in so that it will, and then release the other side. What we actually started doing was actually lowering the other side more. And to explain how that worked, I can't right this minute, but I'm going to show you something else. Just a second. Okay.
All right, I just sent you another couple of photos of different hooves.
Okay.
And one of them is like with the sandy background is the other pony.
Okay.
And that's on a left front, I think,
Okay.
instead of a right front.
Okay. We're going to take a moment for a commercial break here. Just a kind of a joke. So, anyway, when I was a kid, they used to have these comic books, and in the back, they'd sell you X-ray glasses. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So I kind of made this spoof on those X-ray glasses. It says, spectacular X-ray specs. Horse owners tired of having your horse lamed and butchered by farriers and barefoot trimmers, then paying out the yang for expensive clinics, only to do a worse job than they do? X-ray specs are the answer. Use them yourself or give a pair to your hoof care professional. It is down here. Yes, send me my Popco X-ray specs today. So see, I did these trims for 8 years. And I trimmed my horse into all these things, into the very thing that you're looking at there. The very asymmetrical foot, uh, you know, even worse. And so anyway, so yeah, I wish we could have X-ray vision. Okay, so we're going to go back now to Facebook and we're going to look at your photos some more here. The ones that you have just sent. First, I want to look at the one that you sent that you said was before the trim. Was that it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's see. Let's see. Let
That'll
me
be the
share.
first out of the three.
Okay. This one here.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to copy that image and put it next to the other one. Let's see. No, let's see. Save image. File. That way I can flip it around. And when was this? It was how soon before the trim?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. Well,
It'll be about 2.5 weeks between that photo and the post trim photo.
okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try and make them about the same size, and then I'm going to take a picture of them so we can look at them side by side.
And you can see how much drier it's gotten here in her foot too.
Yeah. Just a second here. Okay. Okay, now share. Okay, can you see that there?
Yep.
Oops, wait a minute. Hmm. Well, the crack has gotten worse, didn't it?
The crack in her toe. So she's had a total of 3 trims with that crack.
Mm-hmm.
And the first two he didn't touch it at all. I've just been cleaning it out and packing it so we don't end up with half the pasture in her toe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last trim is when he took that massive notch out of her toe.
Okay. I'll have to look at a minute to see. Because, see, what happens is, first of all, the heels look worse to me. Because what they do, because also look right here. You see this little area right here? Let
Mm-hmm.
me, okay, it looks bent.
Mm.
Okay, see what happens is when they lower the heels, it pulls the back of the foot down and under, and which has definitely happened here. Watch here. Let me get this. Okay, you see this area right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's further under the foot now. See, it takes this area of the frog is actually supposed to be up behind the foot.
Mm.
See, the bulbs are not supposed to be pulled under the foot. This frog, see, this is the frog right here. Okay, this frog, this here is where your frog stay is, and it's supposed to be up behind the foot, up in back of the foot and up. And so what these farriers are taught, and they've been being taught this since 1754, okay, is that the horses are supposed to walk on their frogs, and they start, see, before that, they believed that horses should have higher heels with the frog up off the ground. And then after 1754 in France, they started a new doctrine, which there's a whole big story behind that that's bizarre than fiction. And well, they didn't want horses slipping on the pavement. They were doing a lot of infrastructure improvement in
Mm.
Paris. And so this guy came up with this idea that if they would trim the heels down to here and then only put tip shoes on the horse like that and make the horse walk on the heels on the frog, then they wouldn't slip on the pavement. But this was anatomically incorrect. But a couple years after that, they started the first vet school by the elites who had never even gotten their hands dirty. Okay, never shot a horse in their life. And they started making the regulations and the laws, and they dismantled the original farrier guilds that knew that horses were supposed to have heels, and they took governmental control of them and they instituted these regulations and laws that they were to trim the heels down and force frog pressure. What this led to eventually was that, well, okay, they found out that they couldn't just put the tip shoes on; they had to put the full shoe on. All right. Well, how thick are shoes? You know, how are you going to get frog pressure, the frog on the ground, if the shoe is lifting the foot up off the ground? Well, you just cut that foot even below here. You would take the foot down to here so that you could put your shoe on it and still force frog contact. Well, this is when horses were massive lameness. They instituted this in the military and everything else. That's why pretty much why Napoleon lost at Waterloo, because all their horses went lame. See, this is what the academics did that came in and took over hoof care and took it away from the ancient farrier guilds that knew that these horses should have heels. So this farrier, he trimmed the heels way down, and yeah,
This is
look,
the same person,
it's what?
the same person that did these feet.
Yeah, I know. So every time, but see, he took heel off here, and then the foot pulled down. See, I'll have to show you a picture of how this happens. When you lower these heels, what happens is it pulls the back of the capsule and the back of the foot down and shoves it under. It bends the whole back of the foot. It bends the cartilage because this part of the foot internally is all soft cartilage and fat, and it has to be supported in a specific fashion with certain heel height, or it will deform the whole back of the foot and it'll take the whole back of this foot and it will pull it under. Well, when it pulls this under and shoves it under, it will bend the frog here up into the foot. And that's why, like here, right here, I can see it's bent slightly. And watch this. Wait a minute. Let me undo this. Okay, look at the different I mean, you might not be able to see it, but I can see it. This is still up kind of behind the foot a little bit. Now it's totally under the foot. This little area here, this is where the back of your frog is. And these bulbs here, here's your bulbs. And again, this is supposed to be up behind the foot, not pulled under it. And with each trim, when they trim these heels out, it pulls these heels here forward, and it also will shove the wall out. Like, see how it's shoving the wall out this way?
Mm-hmm.
And stuff, look, you have separation right here. Okay, and so even there, see, if you were to remove this sole, you're going to see a lot of separation in the quarters here.
Yeah.
See, what I'm trying to explain to you is why they do what they do and the effect that it's having on the feet. which is something I did to my own horses. And see, people in this hoof group have all done it to their horses. We're all ex barefooters, or we've all had the farriers, the barefooters, everything, or even wound up doing ourselves just to follow the same pattern and do worse. So, we have been doing extensive research on hoof distortion and why this is happening. And so, what we want to know what is it that made these farriers trim these feet this way? What is the response of the hoof capsule? What is it they're thinking? And then how can we reverse it and fix our horse's feet? Because we have to know what is this horse's foot supposed to look like to begin with, you know? So, okay, let's see.
If you go into Messenger again, I just sent you another photo
Okay,
that's literally about half an hour under the trim. You can actually see where he's rasped.
okay. Yeah, I want to see. Let's see. You must have been suspicious. You're taking all these pictures. What is he doing? Something ain't right. Let's
Pretty
see
much.
here. Yeah, pretty much. And then they treat us like we're idiots. See?
And then it's um now last time he came out, myself and my friend were there,
Uh-huh.
and she, because of what I've been saying to her, she's been asking a lot of questions. And she was saying that I'm looking at maintaining them between trims. He spent twice as long on that property and a lot longer on each horse after that conversation than he normally would.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, because he just wants to get her done and get out of there.
Yeah. And
But
he's like, oh shit, they're on to me.
oh yeah, exactly right. Okay, I'm going back to your page here. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Go back.
That's it. Oh, you were just on it.
Oh, oh, yeah, see this one here? Now tell me again what you were telling me about
That
the rasp.
no, it's not that photo. It's the solo one, not that one. That's not
Not
even the same horse.
uh
Go the other way.
I'm going the wrong way. Oh, maybe I'm at the wrong side. Just a minute. Let me get out of here for a second so I can see the post. Let's see. Oops, wrong person.
There we go. Scroll
Oh,
down.
oh,
It'll be that photo right at the
okay.
bottom of the page.
Okay, I found it. Just a second. Eh, this one here?
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. That's a worse looking trim, I'll tell you. But it's because these people really don't know what to do. And then Barefoot come along, making all these claims, and then these farriers were losing customers, so they had to offer the barefoot trim. Does he claim to be giving them a barefoot trim or just a trim or
I don't know.
I actually feel sorry for him because they were stripped of their true knowledge back in the 1700s. Um,
And even between this photo and the one that was taken 4 days later, you can see the difference in the frog.
yeah, look, you see how it looks full and plump here?
Mm,
Uh, See, it doesn't look as bent right here.
yeah.
So see, because I've been seeing this for a long time. I see these frogs getting bent. Because think about it. When you're pulling the back of the foot down, well, I mean, there's already something here, right? It's not like
Mm.
you can pull this all down and there's nothing there. And so when you pull this part down, what happens? this has to go somewhere. It's either going to bulge out or be shoved in. You're bending the foot, right? So
Mm.
this is being shoved forward here and it bends up into the foot right there. Let's see. Yeah, I really want to compare now that other picture from 4 days to this. See, and a lot happens in 4 days. Um, I'll show you some pictures here in a minute. I'm going to take a copy of this or save image.
I
And
like
we're
one of the other frogs. It actually looks like the left side's rolled over the front. The left side's rolled over the right side.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Yeah, well that it has to go somewhere, you know. And so yeah, it moves the frog. It'll take this whole frog and it'll bend it and it'll shove it and yep. Okay, so let me find this other foot. Okay, I think it's that one. Yes, okay. So I got the other foot here. I'm going to get it the same size. We're going to look at them. Sometimes, okay. Hmm. Now here you can really see how it's moved. Okay, I got to take a picture. Just a second. Okay, I need to just a second. I gotta find something here. Okay, save. Okay. Okay, just a second. Gotta switch them around.
And this is why I was asking you the other night, like if you've got it actually written down of how to mark up the foot and map the foot,
Yeah. Well,
because there's something going on with the heels, but I don't know without measuring.
yeah. Um, and see the markup and the mapping is good and I can show you that, but you see how there's so much more you got to kind of know and understand that
Yeah,
it's not just like a lot of times people would accuse me of, well, you just cookie cutter mapping, blah blah, don't work. No, that's just to get you within range to help you trim and kind of help you where you're at. There's all this other stuff you got to know, like all the stuff we went through on looking at the front of the foot and the growth rings and the horn tubules and the length of the wall in the middle and how it gradually gets shorter as it goes to the back, and how they have to be in alignment. I mean, see all this stuff. I mean, uh yeah, let's see here. Okay, so hold on. I will take a picture. See, what I got to do here is first I have to copy or save these, and then I have to take a snapshot of both of them together, and then I have to go up here to share, and then I have to snap on that like that. There we go. Um, and then I'm gonna make it bigger. Oops, wrong. Just a second here. Okay, now here you can see what's done. It's a little bit of a different angle, but you can still see how this here, oh, well, I got them on the wrong side. How this here
yes.
has been shoved under. I need to redo that. Hold on. Because otherwise, I mean, because this can get confusing. Hold on. I'm going to change sides on that picture. So just
Yeah,
hold
the
on a
post
second.
trim, like the one that's straight after the trim,
Uh-huh.
that was taken in a rush because I was doing like 500 things at once.
Been there. Okay, just a second here. And we'll go back. Hold on. All right. I just have to switch sides and then take another screenshot. Okay. Okay. Just a second here. For a moment there, I was looking at the pictures going, was I wrong? No, you got them switched out. Okay, just a minute. Now we will go back to the Zoom, go back to the Zoom meeting. I'm narrating what I'm doing. Share. There. Okay, I think I got it right this time. How's that? Okay, so this is where
Yep.
he trimmed it. Like, what was he even doing? Well, I know what he was doing. He sighted down the foot and he saw that the foot was tweaked, twisted to making this side look higher. And then he took it down and look how it has, it looks like it made it even wider on that side. It did make it wider on this side. And it looks like it narrowed it on this side because that's what happens. If it gets wider on this side, it's going to pull that way and it will get narrower on the medial side. He didn't touch the bars at all. Um, he really didn't touch anything. He called this a trim.
Mm-hmm.
He touched this and he barely hit that. He lowered this
He
because
basically he basically took that bit of heel and put that big notch in her toe. That's it.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, and
Like
that
he didn't even clean all the debris that was in that toe. I had to do that myself and then pack it so that stuff didn't get in.
mhm. Yeah, wow, and you can really see how this little area here moved and got pulled under the foot. See, the bulbs, I can show you pictures of how that happens. Um, and then a lot of times you'll see some redness like what you see right here because as he's literally like pulled the back of the foot under. See,
Mm.
and by evening out this heel, when this heel was actually shorter, well, see, look at how wide this bulb is right here
Mm.
compared to this bulb. You see that? Because what this does is it literally pulls this down, and when it pulls this down, well, this heel gets weakened. The heel buttress is getting weakened over here, and that supports and stabilizes the foot. And so then as the horse moves and walks, this gets shoved forward. As it gets shoved forward, it pushes the wall out. This is a bulge, not a
Mm-hmm.
flare. See? So see how it flared out more over here
Mm-hmm.
than it was? So this is an epidemic problem. This happens all the time. They'll sight down the heels, and that heel will look higher because the capsule's twisted down like that. See? But it's not really higher. It's the capsule is twisted and pulling. Of course, since the capsule grows from the foot, it pulls the bulb down, and then it's shoves the heel shoves forward and it pushes the wall out. And each time they come to trim, they'll see it like it might he might be able to look at it after he did this and it looks level. But if he was even to come back a few days later, he would look at it again and this side would look high again because it's twisted down. See, I wish I knew what I did with my capsule. Not my capsule, but I have this thing, this plastic thing where I can show you how these capsules get tweaked, twisted. Well, like okay, if you put your hands in front of you like you're holding on to, oh God, I don't know how to explain this. Well, nah, I'm gonna have to get something so I can't do it right now. But there's a way to explain this so it really makes sense and you can see it because this is just a shoe. Oh, it's a boot. Like it's a boot, hoof boot. Okay. If you were to take a hoof boot and put it in your hands to where the heels are facing you, and you were to like twist your hand one way on the heel going forward and the other one going back, well, the heels are still the same, but one would look higher. The one that you twisted down and forward, that heel, you can make that heel look higher. Are you kind of understand a little bit of what I'm saying here? It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. And that's what causes that bulb to be pulled out like that as well. So can I ask what they charge?
Um, $40 a horse.
Gee, that was an easy 40 bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he trims 13 animals
Wow.
just on that property.
Yeah. How long is, oh, yeah, because you said he wasn't there very long, right? And they were going to do,
Usually no,
yeah. Well, I would say
because
not.
he he did 8 horses, 5 donkeys.
Wow. So does he shoe horses too, or is this a barefoot trimmer or a farrier?
He's a farrier. He used to shoe one of the horses, but the owner took the shoes off.
Uh-huh.
Um, which the horse's feet have actually improved
Yeah.
since. His
Good.
feet aren't actually too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's another horse that is adjusted there, and he, if I didn't know what I was looking for, the owner wouldn't even know that there's cracks in the hoof
Yeah.
that need to be filled, because you
Mm-hmm.
can, if you look from above, you can't see them. And it's only
Yeah.
because I knew those cracks were there pre-trim
Mm-hmm.
that I knew there was still holes there in the hoof wall.
Yeah. Huh.
And one of them's on the back foot as well. His back foot's worse than the front.
Okay.
And it's the opposite feet. So it's the left hind foot and right front foot.
Yeah. How old a guy is this?
Um, in his 40s or 50s, maybe, probably more
Yeah.
likely in his 50s.
Yeah. Yeah. Hard job, hard life. I'm telling you, being a farrier, I feel for these people because this knowledge gap is not their fault. Okay.
No,
Um, this has been pushed on them
yeah, this is
by,
just what they've been taught.
yeah, yeah. And like, okay, so like I'm just starting to do these hoof chats again, and next hoof chat, which I will be doing, let's see, what is it? Let's see, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay, so I'm doing it Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So next hoof chat, I'm gonna be starting to do a full on history of hoof care because it is the most bizarre, horrendous history of any other subject on the face of the planet. Okay, like I never dreamed in my wildest dreams that I would run into the bizarre, weird stuff that I've run into. It's mind-boggling, okay? That uh they are so they have been so misled by the first vet schools. The history of those vet schools, the things they believed, why they believed that way is insane. Okay. Um, so I'm going to be starting that history Thursday because only by understanding, well, two things we got to understand. We really do need to understand the history so that perhaps we can start changing people's minds. And second of all, absolutely have to know the true anatomy because there were so many false ideas and beliefs that were instituted in the curriculums of those vet schools, because what they wanted to do, what the government wanted to do, first of all, the king of France, he wanted to dismantle all of these ancient farrier guilds and government regulate everything. And he used the French Science Academy to do it, to say, oh, this is science. See, and they disdained, it's interesting, they disdained empirical knowledge. You go, what? Okay, because today, I didn't even know what that word meant. I mean, you got all these big words they're always saying, right? Well, this is stuff that we always do in life, but we don't know it has a name. It's like the first time I heard the word narcissist, okay, was like I was trying to figure out these people I met. They're just horrible, horrible. And I've met so many awful people during my life. But anyway, good ones too, but some really terrible people, right? And so one day, and it was soon after the computer came out and kind of internet started going and stuff like that, I go, man, there's got to be a name for these people. So I wrote down all these things, these characteristics, and I put it in a search engine. Boom, up pops the word narcissist. I'm like, there's a name for them. I felt so empowered that I gained knowledge. Well, it's the same thing for all this junk with science. The word science just means knowledge. That's all. It was gnosis in Greek. It went into Latin, and it became the word science, and then it spit into English at us. And we go, oh, well, science knows. It just means knowledge. That's all. And your knowledge can be correct or your knowledge can be incorrect. See? And so like this word, I kept hearing this word because I uh have at most a high school education, right? So I kept hearing this word as like empirical, empirical. Well, that sounds pretty big. Oh, gee, evidence-based knowledge. Well, isn't that what we all live on every day? We live our lives and we see evidence of things and we see patterns of things. And so then we start discerning, making judgments of what works, what doesn't work, danger, danger, don't do that, things like that. Well, that is what our science now is supposedly based on. When they do experiments, they have to have the concrete evidence. But in the first vet schools, that is not what they were working on. They were working on theories. Like they thought if I have a theory, it's that way because I say so. If I think it, that's the way it is. And so they just make stuff up out of the clear blue sky. And because they were taught that animals were machines that felt no pain. And that is why they came up with this thing called a frog pressure doctrine, where you cut the heels down, force the horse to walk on his frog, and he won't slip on the pavement or slip on the ice. It was a theory. And they knew that for thousands of years before that, these farriers kept the heels high. All right, because that's the anatomy. But they felt that the animal was like a machine and they could just remodel it. And because then they started these vet schools and they instituted these doctrines and they weren't going to back up on it. And another thing they wanted to do, they wanted to get rid of these empiricists, these ignorant farriers that just based everything on what they could see and on their experience with horses, and they wanted their theoretical doctrines to take precedence over this empiricism, as it was called, over this evidence base. They felt like that was a bunch of baloney, and that, they were smarter and they could just make it up as they went along, and the horse was just a machine, and we'll make it adapt. But it didn't turn out that way. And of course, then once they instituted these false doctrines, once they took the medical part away from the farriers, dismantled the original farrier guilds, and then trained their own farriers, they started crippling horses left and right. And it's a good thing that the combustion engine was invented, or we would not have Western civilization like we have now. Because the horse would, you think this horse would stand up to being, say, pulling a cart in a war? See, we don't think of just the fact that war horses, we think of the soldiers on the war horses. You know how many horses had to pull carts and supplies and everything else to keep the war machine going? You know, so because these vet schools that opened in 1761 adopted these doctrines of cutting the heels down and forcing the horses on their frogs, and they, once you put something in an academic realm, they will not back up on it. You know, it's so that's what we're dealing with today, is these false teachings, doctrines, beliefs that came out of the 1700s. I mean, we might as well continue to do bloodletting. It's the same mentality. So anyway, we'll get back to this now. So I will, if you want to trim this horse, I will make sure that you get a full set of instructions for the mapping.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can help you also do a virtual trim. That's where we just get on the phone, either on Facebook or regular phone, and we'll do a markup. I'll have you mark up the foot, like we'll have you start cleaning up some sole here and cleaning up these bars to start with. And then I'll have you just uh scribe out some of the, I call it scribing. You take the edge of the hoof knife and you just come in here. Let me
Mm-hmm.
annotate. You just come in here and just come up against the wall and kind of clean that out just a little bit. See,
Mm-hmm.
right there. And then what you're going to do, you're going to leave heel here. We're not going to take down any heel. Okay, which heel did you think was higher? This one?
Yep.
Okay. See, and that's just because that heel bent down more. So it looks higher than that when you're sliding down the foot. So what I'm going to have you do though is I'm going to have you measure from here to the hairline what each heel is, from the heel point down to the hairline. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do that first. And so we'll have you, do the whole mapping thing on this foot, including, the bars. See there?
Yep.
I mean, this whole bar needs to come off
Mm.
right here. See, this is bar mapping right here. This is where you bar. And I can show you on the real foot. Look, see how all this is grown up over that and
Yep.
stuff like that. So this is what I would do with this foot. I would take down this wall with the rasp flat, like you ever watched a farrier trim a foot for a shoe? How he rasps
Mm-hmm.
it flat, he's gonna put the shoe
Yep.
on. Okay. So I would rasp this flat. It doesn't matter if this heel area here behind here is higher than this area of wall. Okay. That doesn't matter, because we've already seen how horses, when they self-trim, they will actually break out their whole quarter and leave a
Yep.
hook in their heel. Okay, so that don't matter at all. So we're going to grow this heel back in so that this wall will move back in like that, and this one will release a bit. The hoof capsule will relocate itself and kind of straighten out. Looks like a scribble picture here. So what I'll have you do is I'm going to have you rasp this hoof wall down to the sole, okay, and then maybe take one more swipe just to put a just a minute here. Just to put, because you know, when you hit that sole, then it'll turn it white right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And since the sole is kind of, well, actually, the sole is shaped like this. Okay. So you're going to hit this here and you're just going to get a thin area of white. We might just start there. We'll have you bevel some of this wall here off and then go for 3 or 4 days and see if he can start working his own soul out.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? Because if you put him down on some of that soul, he and change this a little bit, he might just knock a bunch of that out himself.
Yeah.
Okay. But then we'll get together again and uh have you start doing a little bit of exfoliation on that sole. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and you could probably do that anyway if you wanted. You know, you're going to be moving this area here, this bar area, okay, so that his bars are correct. And all that's going to help loosen up that sole. Does that sound like a good plan to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, this is what we're all trying to do. It's not, it sure ain't overly simple. That's for sure. Let's see. Okay, is there anything else you want to talk about? You want to look at some more feet? Uh, or do you want to stop here or what?
I think we'll stop here for today
Okay, sounds
because
good to
my
me.
my brain's starting to wander.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Believe me, I know.
So I think Mondays are my best day
Okay,
at being able to just sit at the computer and focus on something
yeah,
because
okay.
it's Monday morning for me now.
Oh, okay. What time is it there?
11 a.m.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it is 8:08 here.
Yeah, I think I worked out there's 15 hours between us.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because you are in Australia
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. Well, okay. Well, thanks for sharing with us because I know this will help somebody else and stuff. And of course, this is on going to be on YouTube, and you'll have a link to the YouTube channel. So if you want to watch through it again,
Mm-hmm.
see, you can. Okay, so
Cool.
just let me know when you might want to attempt this trim. You know, whether you want to kind of do it. Well, I've got to get you some mapping instructions first. So,
Yeah, once I get the mapping instructions, like I'd probably do Sunday,
okay,
like Sunday my time.
okay, that sounds good. All right. Well, um, I guess that's all I have for today. Does anybody have any comments about this? Guess not. Okay. Okay. Well, that's then I'm going to end the hoof chat now so I can get out and feed while it's still daylight and stuff. Thanks everybody for coming. And I'll be here again on Tuesday.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, thank you. Thank you a
Thank you,
lot.
Linda.
Hi,
Bye.
Linda.
Have a good
Hey, Aaron.
Oh my goodness. I'm with my sister. Sorry, we joined a little late and I couldn't figure out how to unmute.
Oh, that's okay.
um,
Well,
yeah.
no, go ahead. Say something.
So in relation to, how you leave the heel buttress and it's higher than the quarters,
Mm-hmm.
um, I just trimmed my twin sister's horse's feet today and kind of went over like how she can improve stuff. But like, how do you transition from the heels to the quarters? Do you just smooth off like the drop off?
Yeah, as good as you can.
Okay. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I try to do.
because um, because it ain't gonna be right no matter what.
Yeah.
you know, and stuff. And so the thing about it was in genomics research on wild horses, he's got 3 different kinds of feet on different kinds of pasture, and one of them has a hook in its heel. And I realized after years that this was the horse that was straightening his own feet up.
Mm-hmm.
See, so these horses will break out in the quarters and they'll have a hook in the heel. Their toe will get a little long and they'll
Yeah.
just kind of stretch their own foot out,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, see, that was always a hard thing for me to do too, because you either want to leave it but see, that's why you see all these people scooping and they'll say, oh, horses have a natural arch and you gotta at least let a credit card, go under the quarter when you're trimming. They don't realize the foot is bent.
Yeah.
See, so since the foot is bent, till the foot straightens out, you're not going to be able to, uh, rasp a totally flat hoof and still have heel.
Yeah.
And
So, oh, sorry. I was I'm getting to the point where I can get closer to being more flat. So my sister, she's kind of in the beginning phase still. So it's just like I'm kind of like just refreshing myself because that was a while ago for me.
good.
So
Okay.
it's so
Yeah,
exciting to see her kind of behind me in the progress now.
yeah. See,
Um,
and
mhm.
that's what you'll notice too. You'll notice the feet doing the same things.
Yeah.
And to see, because eventually we want to get so that we would be able to rasp the heel at its correct height and rasp all the way around and get a clean white line, flat hoof. I mean, it's not flat in there in this
Yeah.
part, but around here, you would be able to rasp it flat, get a clean white line all the way around. See, without having to totally scoop this area out to try and find a clean white line,
Yeah.
because the foot is bent, so the sole is bent, and so
Hmm.
that area that creates that white line that's really yellow, all right, that
Yeah.
that area is bent, and
Yeah.
so that's why you'll see this separation here in the quarters all the time too.
Hmm.
Like sometimes you can get a clean white line in the toe or right around here, but rarely in the quarter. And if you take too much heel off, you can get way down and get a clean white line, but that's not your real heel, and you wind up,
Yeah.
you know.
It's gonna
So,
spool back in.
yeah,
Hmm.
yep. So, well, that's great. Well, I'm glad you're with your sister, and I'm glad you
Yeah.
guys are making some progress. That's awesome.
And we're turning heads. She's because she's starting to do more and more. She's turning heads at the barn, and they're asking more questions.
That's awesome. That's great.
So,
Well, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you more.
I'm saying hi to your sister.
Yeah, she's right here.
Thank you. Hi.
Now, what's your name?
Amy.
And you guys are twins, right?
Yeah, our birthday is on Tuesday.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're together. You're spending some time together
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and learning this together and supporting each other. That's awesome.
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's something that we can do long distance.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, all right. Well, I'm going to let you all go.
All right.
And hey, everybody, if you're around Tuesday, we'll see you. If not, we'll be here 3 days a week till I get every bit of everything I know out and recorded. Okay?
Amen.
Okay. Amen. All right, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Now, how to get out of here?